what I would just call intimacy.
Okay. How you are into that
Yes,
person.
into a person, the connection you have with that person, the level of harmony you have with that person, and that's just it. I think that was just it.
Okay, during the course of the week, I had a discussion with someone about intimacy, and the person said a lot of times he vibes a lot with people, even when he's not in a relationship with them, and sometimes even when he's in a relationship. So I want to ask: is intimacy the same thing as vibing with people? Like when you move along, you get along well with people. Can it still be called the same thing as intimacy?
Where we want to go, the good thing about language is that language evolves with time and with how people use it. And so 2 years ago, if you use the word I want to go and gist with my friend, it will not be proper. But right now we discover that dictionaries are now beginning to accept it into their latest editions. Where if we want to do that, with that, are we going to call that intimacy? Well, because intimacy is far deeper, right? When we talk about intimacy, we are looking at a deeper relationship that is just beyond the soul level, right? We are looking at a relationship that has to do with having sexual elements in it, right? So we may not want to call that intimacy for the purposes of this program. Although some people may try to call it intimacy because they're talking about general connections and the rest, but it does not suffice. I think it's best we limit intimacy to romantic relationships. Romantic relationships. Now, whether those relationships are people who are dating each other, people who are seeing each other, or people who are married to each other.
Okay, saying that you move to the aspect of sex, the romance part. When it comes to intimacy in romantic relationship now, does it entail the physical at all? Like, does it connect in any way? When it comes to the physical touch, holding of hands, kissing, and sometimes sex.
Yes, intimacy is very broad, right? People just think that intimacy is having sex or anything that has to do with sex, but sex is just a tiny little part of it, right? Because remember I said it's that deep connection, that deep harmony that you have with the person or with this other person, right? So, and if we look at the journey of intimacy, most of the time it starts with, okay, you finding this person attractive, you look at the person. So it actually starts from the eyes, right? If you're seeing the person, or if you're listening to the person, it starts from the ears, the voice you're hearing. So from there you get to see this person, you're liking this person, you start talking with this person. So talking is also a level of intimacy, right? Seeing somebody often is also a level of intimacy, right? You're talking this person, you start shaking hands. From shaking hands, you move to things like holding hands. From holding hands, you move to things like the big hug. From the big hug, we go to the cuddles. We have the big kisses. Big kisses and the pecks. That people just call pecks, right? We have the pecks, the big kisses. We have what those of us here call the French kissing, and those in the French world called the English kissing.
They all one way or the other connected to intimacy.
Yes, they are all part of intimacy.
Okay, talking about sex.
Sex is just the height of it. The height of it.
So can sex in any way bring about deep intimacy?
No, that is one problem we are actually having right now when we are working with people who are married. We're working with people who are in a relationship, or we are working with single people. And I've seen this in my 17 years counseling experience, and also 10 years as a lawyer working with people who are families and marriages. I just get to realize that people were never intimate, right? Or rather, their intimacy did not build. It did not develop well. So they don't have a foundation. Many people just start off from, it's like what we usually say, that sex is a good roof, but a bad foundation, right? What it will do is that it will cause an intimacy of the body, but not the intimacy of the soul, not the intimacy of the mind. So your body and this other person's body have gotten fused to each other, one way or the other, through the chemical reactions, through all the sexual activities. But as a person, you are not really enjoying this person. You are not really connecting with this person. You can't actually sit down with this person and just, you still want to talk, and you are looking for your girlfriend. You are looking for your this person has actually not moved to that level of sharing the innermost part of you.
I believe that is why some people will have a girlfriend or boyfriend and still prefer to talk to their best friends.
Exactly. So you are having a situation where somebody says, I'm in a relationship right now, I'm dating somebody right now, but at the same time that person is having a bestie. Like, I don't get it. Like, my wife should be my bestie.
Yes, because I've had this discussion several times, and they're always like, no, I prefer their things I can't tell my girlfriend because she might not understand, but I believe my bestie will.
The problem, where the problem started from was that they skipped the phase. Somehow we are always in a hurry, so we jump the phases that is supposed to bond us, that is supposed to build us together, that is supposed to make us grow into each other, love each other, like each other, right? So when we skip those phases at the end of the day, we will not be as intimate with our partners as we would have wanted it to be. So we obviously, this is it. Many people do not have sexual relationship with their girlfriends.
Yes.
Many guys do not have sexual relationship with their guys. But what is it that happened at the end of the day? Because they don't have sexual relationship with these people, they are able to over time build a connection, over time build a relationship with this person.
Okay.
Right? Now, and that is what people don't understand. Love, right, grows with time, it grows with age. So that idea that you just fall in love, it does not click, because in a real sense we make love. Right?
Make love.
Yes, we make love. Making love is not sex, as many people think.
Okay.
Making love is creating love, right? Becoming this person's friend, growing to know this person, growing to have this person know you, getting to understand this person, having this person get to understand you. So over time, you are making something, you are making a connection. At first, you may not trust these people. A time comes, you start trusting these people. A time comes, you can start banking on these people. A time comes, you know that, nah, he will never do something like that. Nah, she will never do something like that. Even if somebody says he or she did that, you know, like, no, I know this person so well.
Because you trust the person.
Yes,
because that intimacy has been
built over time by experience, by teamwork, by getting to have shared time and shared activities. You get to know this person. But what happens? You have a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, you did not go through this same journey with them, you did not share the same experience with them, and bam, you jump from just seeing this person, liking this person, touching, and sex has happened in less than a month, in less than 2 months, sex has already happened. By the time you want to be vulnerable with your soul, you want to be vulnerable with your person, you can't find this person trustworthy enough. You don't find this person as, nah, what I share with you is not that deep.
Wow.
Right? You are more or less like, what I share with you is
I
not.
guess we're having calls already, but
okay.
It's not yet time. Hello? Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm fine.
Okay, so do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Alright. Sometimes you feel lonely while in a relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, this year I would like to answer you. Interestingly, today I did record a video for my YouTube channel, and I was trying to explain loneliness and being alone, right? Marriage was created to solve a problem, right? For those of us that are Christians, right? Because I'm a Christian. Marriage was created, God discovered that Adam was alone, not lonely.
Yes.
Alone, not lonely. There's something we get wrong that we usually don't understand, that loneliness is a mental health issue, right? Loneliness is an emotional health issue.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Becky on the line.
Okay. We are listening.
Okay. I want to believe that your question is, why is that somebody will be in a relationship and the person will still be lonely, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just answer it right away. Now, the thing is something that we need to be clear on, like I was explaining before this record part, is that marriage was designed to solve the problem of aloneness, if there's a word like that, being alone, not to solve the problem of loneliness. Loneliness is a mental health condition.
Okay.
It's a mental health state. It's an emotional state, right? So which means that it is something that is caused from, it is something that is from the inside. It is internal. It is not external, right? So when we are as humans, we can be lonely whether we are alone or we are in a relationship. The reason why we are lonely is not necessarily because we don't have a partner, we are not in a relationship, or we are one, our partner is not there. It is actually a mental health situation. It is a mental health case in which your therapist or your counselor or your clinical psychologist will be able to examine and give you, okay, this is the best answer. But many people get it wrong and feel that, okay, because they are lonely, if they get into a relationship, if they get married, it will cure the loneliness. No, but marriage is for aloneness, not loneliness. We must first of all understand what is it that is causing this loneliness feeling. Is it a health condition? It could actually be a health condition. It could also be the fact that we have self-esteem issues. Right? There are many things that can cause us.
Sometimes I would love to come in that way. Because sometimes people might be in a relationship and they are not just feeling their partner enough,
right?
Yes, and it feels like, okay, why am I even in this relationship? Because sometimes people have partner and you can't discuss some deep things with them and you still prefer to go outside.
It's exactly the same thing that we'll be talking about. They did not build intimacy.
And
they did not build the connection.
They make the mistake of saying sex can actually connect them with the person.
It does not. It's everything sex does is just to connect the bodies, right? It connects my body with your body. Beyond that, that's why I try to always explain to people the real concept of soul ties. Like when we are talking about soul ties, it's not a spiritual thing. It's just a psychological thing, it's a social thing. Soul ties is the fact that if we say that our soul is made up of our mental intelligence, our state of passion, right, will, our state of passion, our will, our emotions, and what else again, and logic, right? Now it automatically means that I will have a soul tie with you if I keep on talking with you. We keep on doing things together. We keep on having shared activities together. I will have automatically a soul tie with you, right? Why? Because you, over time, you have come to know me, the real me, the way I think, the way I respond, the way I see things, the way I perceive things, the way I react and respond to things.
That's why in some situation it will be easier for the other person to say, no, this person would never
do
that.
And
you can vow to.
Because you have developed, you have built a connection, you have been doing things together. And that's why I would say attention breeds affection. But most of the time, what we are having to deal with right now is that many people did not build this. They did not build this. And guess what? The very unfortunate part of it is that sexual activities usually cuts off your ability to be intimate with a person on the soulish level.
Wow.
Why? Right, because when we are supposed to be talking, we are touching. Right? When there's an issue and we are supposed to bring our values to the table, we are supposed to bring our mind to the table, and we are supposed to talk on it, we start having make-up sex.
Wow. And
right?
The studio is already getting hot, and I have to cool down a little bit. So I would love to I have to cool down. Like, this is really, really loaded. So I have to cool down a bit. And this one is coming from Michael Bothin, and he calls it When a Man Loves a Woman. Let's see what happens. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, Shola, good afternoon. How is Lagos this afternoon?
Fine.
Okay, so what's your question?
Ask the question.
Okay.
Yeah. My question is that why would a guy build an intimacy lady, and then at the end of the day, he tries to he says he's trying to build intimacy, and then at the long run, he withdraws. What do you do to that in that case? you know, at a point, the lady would have been expecting that he should ask you out or something because
Yes,
it
yes.
has grew to an extent. So you understand? So what would you do as a lady? Like, because of course in Nigeria you can't have to leave a guy out. But at least there are some times that you still be showing and all blah blah blah. So what would you do in that case?
Okay, I get your question now. We are going to attend to it.
Okay, Jerry. This is it, right? And we are talking about a situation wherein the guy kind of leads you on and gets you to a place where you think that you are not expecting it. Like, for Jesus Christ's sake, why should we come all this distance and you not just ask me out?
Yes,
I already have your yes.
expecting it.
Right, I already have your yes,
Yes.
guy. Just ask and I'll give it to you. It's a problem we are dealing with, right? And people are not getting it straight. It is best not to start what you cannot finish, right? You don't want to do and get involved in a situation wherein how will I say it? This is how we say it. You know, we have the ability and the power to make our choices, but we don't have the power and the ability to choose the consequences of our choices, right? You cannot choose the consequences of your action. Your action automatically would bring in the consequences. So your own is to ask yourself, like, do I want this result at the end of the day? The results are already there. They are fixed. You make the choice to say, okay, this is what I will do. If, to get this result, this is what you do. To get this result, this is what you do. So at the end of the day, you cannot be doing A and want to get B. It does not work, right? Now, in that situation, this is what I want to do. I would like to advise Dave. Yes, culturally, in our own locality right now,
it's wrong for
yes,
you.
it's still growing. It's still growing.
Yeah.
It's still growing, right? It's still growing. We are having situations where I know that it was the lady that asked the guy out and they are married, they are fine, there's nothing, right? But we know that Nigeria, Africa is mainly
patriarchal. We see it's wrong, there's something wrong, and most especially when the guy in question is not matured.
Yes,
it might be thrown back at you, and as a lady, your pride and everything, you just feel down.
It's majorly two things. Number one, it has to do with your culture, right? The culture of the area, because all of us, we all have our norms and our values, right? Our ethics, our practices. So if the culture does not accept it, it may not work. But now we are beginning to have a multicultural society, right? Then secondly, it may have to do with the perception and the self-esteem and the worldview of the particular guy involved. Now, this is what I usually advise. If you are in a friendship, right? Many times these guys that get friend zoned, but we are finding situations where girls also get friend zoned. Right? This is a friend zone situation now, like, right?
Yes, and you're just expecting, guy, like, ask me out.
He's your best friend, he's your bestie.
I know, and the intimacy has been.
You know what somebody calls it? Somebody has even called it talking partners.
Hello? Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Michael. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, Michael, how is Lagos today?
Lagos?
Okay. Okay, your first question is, can intimacy be faked?
Yeah.
And your
I need to fake.
Okay, and your second question is, can we build love, and how do you build love to the taste of the other person? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, I would like to answer you. Thank you so much for that question. But before I answer you, let me just drop the last line for the last person that asked.
Yes.
Right, when you're in a situation like that, a guy is liking you too much, there's nothing wrong in asking the guy, who are we, so that you define it. Right, who are we? If he says you are just my friend and you are just my friend, start building that same friendships with other people. I know my friend cut off a girl.
But don't you think who are we is like the same thing as?
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. But I'm telling you that right now we have gotten to a level that you need to define who we are, because right now I'm beginning to have different ideas in my head. Because at the end of the day, the guy says it's your friend, then okay, that's fine, we'll continue as friends, and I have the right to make other friends, and I have the right to share that same time that I spend with you with other people, so that at the end of the day you don't become friend zoned and everybody will be thinking that you are his babe and meanwhile you are not his babe. Okay, now can we fake intimacy? Can we fake intimacy? We cannot really, we may not be the ones that will be faking it. It is our brain that may at times making us think otherwise, right? We are not getting the rush, the chemical rush and the rest. And this is usually when sexual activities have not become involved in that relationship. So you think that you have something, because your head is always beating one kind, because your heart is always pumping more blood. But in the real sense, what you just have is that physical connection. You don't have the emotional connection yet. Yes, how then can we build love? How then can we make love? Okay, let me say this, and sorry, I may be sounding like cocky or I'm proud, but it's the reality. I'm about 17 years in counseling and 10 years as a lawyer.
Wow.
And I have seen things. There's this thing that is so true and so correct, and many counselors agree about it and agree on it. Is the fact that if two people choose to make a relationship work, if two people choose to make a marriage work, it will definitely work. Now, so how do you make, if you're in a relationship and you're in a marriage and there's no intimacy right now, how do you make intimacy work? You go back to the very beginning. That's the thing many people don't get. They usually want to just continue from the top, but love, you go back to the foundation. Love is a circle, right? It goes round and round. What it means is that every day I'm supposed to date my babe, my wife. Like I usually tell people that I married a girl, not a woman. She may be a mother right now, but that was not the person I married. I married a girl. So I must always ensure I treat, for me to enjoy my wife, I must always ensure that I treat her as like that girl. That girl that I was always after. That girl that I was always calling. So if you are in the office, just if you are married to someone, and in the last 1 week, you have not just called the person while you were at work. You have not just tested the person while you were at work. The same kind of things you did when you were dating this person, when you were going after this person, when you were connected to this person, then the marriage will die. So how do you build up? Go back to that same dating phase. Make your marriage continuous dating. You are dating this person. You are experiencing this person. Attention builds affection.
Okay,
so right,
this takes me to this particular question. I guess it was on Monday we had this discussion, and someone said, I said, for you to have that person you want, it has to be continuous, like what you used to do before. And the person was like, there's no how you can be continuous with it, because sometimes you might get choked up at work, or you have a lot of things you want to do. Then how do you go about this?
And this is where we set our priorities. Now, this is where we set our priorities. Today, for example, I was already in the office. Yesterday, I was already in the office before 7 a.m. And I came back home maybe at about 7:30, 8 p.m., right? So during, was it on Monday, I sat down, and for us, and this is what I usually advise all those who are under my influence at the Alright Passion, we usually say something about it that you must always make your wife your priority, right? You must always make your partner your priority. You must always make your spouse your priority. Your marriage, your relationship, and your family comes first before work, right? Although we sometimes get tempted to think that we need the money for the marriage. Do you know what I did on Monday when I got to the work? I got these push pins, these red drawing pins for those who are, drawing pins that have red, yellow, green, and the red. I have a picture board in my office that I could have shown you right now, even though that we're recording. Right, I would have just shown you my picture board to see how my wife is littered everywhere on my picture board, because she is my priority, right? So what I did was that on Monday, I picked a red pin, a red push pin, drawing pin, and I pushed it on my office red. I just pushed it there. So every time I'm seated, I'm seeing it, and I ask myself, what have I done for my wife today? Have I called my wife today? Have I checked on her today? What is that surprise I should plan for her? It's just there. So you do things to put that person.
Regardless of how busy you are, if that person is very important for you, you always have time.
Just have time. You the person is constantly in your thoughts, just as money is constantly in our thoughts. Okay, now regarding this
question,
the question was,
how do you
take the excesses of a cheating partner?
Hello. Okay, can a relationship work without trust?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Will be answered.
Okay, thank you. I'll answer that. So let's start from the top. How do you cut the excesses of a cheating partner? First of all, you must realize that your sexuality is your responsibility, and the sexuality of your partner or the sexuality of your spouse is that person's responsibility. It is not your responsibility to help them deal with whatsoever is their personal issues. That is one thing we must always get to understand. That there are duties and responsibilities that are God's, right? This is God's job. There are some that are mine, and there are some that is my partner, right? Take for example, it is my wife's responsibility to ensure that my sexual needs are met. It's not something that is easily feasible, either physically because of location and also because of the health of their spouse. So, and secondly, you have somebody who is addicted to pornography, you have somebody who is addicted to masturbation. That person's spouse can never satisfy the person.
Sorry, I won't be picking calls for now for us to be able to.
Okay, or rather, they should just send that text messages.
Okay.
How about that? Just send us text messages. Let's see how it
for
comes.
those of you, for the people calling now, I won't be picking calls for now, just for us to wrap up with the questions we have. You can send us a WhatsApp message on 0901 304 7980. Send a WhatsApp message to 0901 304 7980.
Okay, so regarding that, you cannot actually, if your the first question I want to ask is that, is this person's partner, is this person's babe having an issue with it? Does the person think that I have sexual excesses? If you think you have sexual excesses, then fine. You find a counselor, you find a therapist, and you get help. You get help because it is a behavioral issue, right? So if you the boyfriend or the husband, you are not a behavioral sociologist, psychologist, counselor, therapist, you'll be giving yourself headache. It is not your job. It is not your responsibility at all to help the person through that. Then again, regarding nothing to talk, when people say they have nothing to talk about,
I would love to chip in something.
Yeah.
Most of it these days, it's all about, hello, how are you doing? How was your day? Have you eaten? I be like,
and nothingness.
what else do you want to say?
Okay, right. Okay, there was actually a time I wrote an article, and I caught the article is titled "Silence is also romantic."
Really?
Yes, like, okay, I had a long distance relationship. So there were times that myself and babe, as she then was, now wifey, we would just be on the phone, and for about 30 minutes, we are not saying anything. We are just enjoying each other's quietness, right? But this is it. When you say there's nothing to talk about, it means that
my phone line is still buzzing, but I'm not picking calls for now. Just send a WhatsApp message to 0901 304 7980.
Okay. Now, so there are times that people find it difficult to say, okay, what should we be talking about, right? There are too many things to talk about. Interestingly, Google is still free. So you go on Google and you just
What
search
to talk about
what to talk about back in a relationship. And interestingly, I have a guide. I have a guide for singles and I have a guide for married people on things to always discuss about, right? So I left the house this morning. My wife was still sleeping when I left the house. And by the time I left the house, I got to work very early. I had many activities doing. Before I came here, I went to pick up an item that I had ordered and everything. And we are here. See, if I go back home and I want to gist with my wife what has happened today, 2 hours will not be enough. Now, this is a problem why people don't have things to talk about. Is because they are rushing things. Guy, calm down, slow down. Don't summarize. That's just the whole idea. Don't summarize. You only have nothing to talk about if you don't have a life. But if you actually have a life, you read a book, you saw a movie, you went to a place, you were involved in an activity, you went to work, you did things on your to-do list in the office, there will be definitely many things to talk about. See, my wife is not online right now, but she'll be online when she gets home because she has issues with her SIM and all these NIN issues, right? But while I was at work, I started sending things to her WhatsApp that when I get home with the Wi-Fi, she's going to read. And they will become things for us to discuss. Right? Okay, we need to talk about so and so thing. Oh, I saw so and so thing. I saw some YouTube videos and I sent them to her like, okay, when we get back, we'll definitely do about these things. It is because this person is not your priority. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Can I truly say, I am your friend if you do not trust me? The answer is just simply no.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Cyril, I'm calling from Oshogo.
Alright. So what's your question?
I have a question. And the question
Now, regarding what you can do if your partner does not know how to show love, we must understand there are two things here. The fault is not your partner's. The fault is actually yours because it means that
Really?
yes, this is it. First, it is yours. Primarily, it is yours. I will explain to you why it is yours. It means that your partner does not understand how to love you.
Simple. Love
It's
language.
just simple. Love language. So it comes back to it comes down to people, when married couples come to my office and they are coming for counseling or they come for anything, one of the first things I do once it's a relationship is that I give you the love languages test. And the people are surprised, like, oh, I see why she's always complaining about this. I see why he's always complaining about this. You don't know how to love your partner. So
But I get this. Sometimes you just love the people. You love to show. You show love to people the way you think they should be loved,
exactly,
not the way they want.
Not the way they want to be loved. And this is it. We get to love people the way we want people to love us, right? So take, for example, I'm using myself as an example right now. Although I'm a counselor, and this is the interesting thing, I don't like calls like that until the evenings.
Okay.
Like throughout the day when I'm at work, if my wife calls me, I actually feel it's an emergency.
Okay.
Because usually I like being on my work and I take work calls. Any call outside the work, I feel it is an emergency. I don't feel you should just call and check up on somebody during the person's working hour. I don't think it is proper, right? I don't just feel it is proper. It's like you are using the person's work hour, especially a work hour that the person is being paid for. Do you get it now? So ordinarily, I will not call you throughout the day. So if you are somebody who believes that you should be called 2 times different people, right? So she may have had maybe a previous relationship and the guy loved her like this and she loved it. And so now she's wanting that same type of love from her present guy. There are just so many things involved.
Hello.
There are many things involved.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can we move on to how the person how you can make your partner love you the way you want to?
Well, the thing about it is that it's just for you to talk. Communication. Everything rises and falls on communication
I guess one of these days
in
we are going
relationship.
to talk about communication in relationship.
Yes, that's the
Effective
focus.
communication.
That's just the focus. Everything in your relationship rises and falls on communication. People will say understanding. No, see, you got to talk for me to understand. You have to just be very clear about what you want.
Might even be sad, you are not happy, you want this person to love you, yet you are not talking about it. The
And
person might not even bother.
And the question about it is that if you are sad, that the best way I will love you is to leave you alone. That is my natural wiring.
Really?
But if you want something different, you have to say. Do you get it now? You have to say. That's the thing. People are not talking. Like he's supposed to know. Like Dan, supposed to know what? Is he your God? Is he one that created you? Is he in your head? How is he supposed to know? She is supposed to know. Like supposed to know.
Supposed to know what?
When people are doing birthdays, they ask for cake, they ask for different things. When it was my birthday, I told my wife I wanted only one thing: goat pepper soup. She did a surprise cake. She prepared food. She served food. Did many different things. Bought me a gift and the rest. I just said. I kept on saying throughout that day, where's my goat pepper soup?
Because that was what you wanted.
That's what I wanted. But people say, oh, he's supposed to know. He's supposed to buy me a shoe. Like, hello.
You don't tell me, oh, am I supposed to know?
So people are not talking.
Okay, we have a question on WhatsApp, and the person said, "My name is Ayobami from Iyano Church."
Okay.
When a guy noticed that in their relationship, lack of intimacy has started setting, and the guy is trying all his best to bring it back to normal, to connect to the soul, to connect the soul back, but it isn't working. What can the guy do? Secondly, how can a guy know a partner isn't cheating? How can a guy know his partner isn't cheating on her? And how can the person know the lady loves him like he does?
Okay. The first one is how do you reconnect the soul, right? Now, it's good that he said relationship. Remember what I said? It takes 2 people to make a relationship work. Two.
Yes,
The two.
Not
because
one.
it takes 2 to tango. The 2, not 1. It takes 1 to end it. It does not take 1 to make it work. It takes 2. So if you are doing everything reasonable, you are doing everything, doing the best you can, but your partner still says, I don't want to do. I'm not into this again. I'm calling this off and all of that. Guy, the best thing is to move on. Save your energy for the next babe. Save your mental and emotional and physical resources for the next babe because of it.